Hello. Well, everybody's agonising over why the Oscars didn't get a good audience. And here it says, well, people aren't watching television so much and they're not watching films so much. So they're not that bothered about the Oscars because they're not that bothered about films. That's not true. Yes, they are watching less, but you'd think that they'd be interested in the actors anyway, and they're not. And in my opinion, the reason for this is Robert De Niro, or the people like him anyway. Some of you will remember that 2 years ago, he stood up, I think it was 2 years ago, stood up during an Oscars ceremony and shouted, F Trump, F Trump, F Trump. I'm trying to avoid the YouTube hammer. Now, let's face it, a lot of the people who watch Robert De Niro films are working class people. And a lot of those people will have voted for Donald Trump. He's a working class hero. And when they heard Robert De Niro shouting that, and everybody else, oh, you're so brave. Brave. I didn't notice the stormtroopers standing outside the hall where he spoke, waiting to arrest him for shouting about using swear words around Trump. Wasn't brave at all. He was pandering to his crowd of mates there, and they were all, clapping, oh, you're so brave, you're so bold, you used a swear word at the Oscars. Meanwhile, the working class voters who were watching that were thinking, what an ass. That was my working class hero, Donald Trump. He's my president. And you're saying this about him. And you know what? I happened to see The Irishman. I even thought twice before I saw the film because I felt this antipathy towards Robert De Niro. And all the time he was on the screen, by the way, very bad special effects. I thought it was awful. It was not at all convincing, especially at the end when he was supposed to be a frail old man at the end of his life and he still had the physique of a bull. No doubt because he didn't want people to get that image of him as a frail old man. Because I'm sure they could have done something that made him look weaker and more atrophied than he was. No, I actually thought it was a terrible film, but I'm not sure how much of my antipathy towards it came from the fact that all the time I was watching Robert De Niro there, I was thinking of his standing there shouting F Trump to his audience. Two audiences. The first one was all those actors who, he's so clever, he's so brave. And the other one were the ordinary Joes at home who watch his films, who thought he was good, who thought he spoke for them, and then saw what he was saying about their president. And I thought that was foul. And every time I saw him in the film, I thought that was foul. I just remembered that. And so I would not have turned on, I didn't turn on the Oscars ceremonies. I just looked at the Vogue screenshots of the costumes they were wearing on the red carpet. I had absolutely no wish to see those guys patting each other on the back. And I'm quite sure that's why the Oscars ratings went down. They were catastrophic. The sort of people at whom they thought they were aiming their show, 20%. Of that group was the demographic who might have bought the stuff they were advertising. So the rest of the people were probably a bunch of oldies who had nothing better to watch that night. And I'm quite sure they weren't that well entertained because I did see bits and I saw that dreadful monologue about the in memoriam monologue. Overacted, over-emoted. It was just awful, just awful. Just a bunch of people who are actually out of control. They think they are the gods of the universe, and that everything they think, every word that falls from their mouths is a pearl, even when they swear at the president. And they're not convincing anybody. Everyone knows they're dumb as rocks. And Robert De Niro, who I thought to be an intelligent man, he's as dumb as a rock too, because anyone with any intelligence would have known that foul-mouthed rant at the last Oscars is going to put people off for the next Oscars. And that's exactly what happened. Why not treat yourself or a favoured relative or friend to these magnificent examples of merch? The mugs and t-shirts come in the Graniopteryx design or Granbo with a firearm or the more deadly knitting needles. Go to www.graniopteryx.com and whatever platform you're watching this on, please click like, subscribe and share.